back to my YouTube channel. On today's episode, we're going to be making cake. We're not just going to be making the cake. This episode is about baking that cake yourself. So you're going to bake this cake yourself. You decorate it yourself. Even if you don't have an oven. You know, I have like 2 ovens, but I'm not going to use any of them today. We have an alternative. Like, I want you to be able to bake your cake yourself. So if you have an event, your children's birthday, or you have a celebration, a get-together, you would be able to do it yourself. If you watch this video till the end, step-by-step video, we'll be making a vanilla cake and we'll be decorating it with buttercream and we'll be packaging it as well. Everything beautiful. All these things are beautiful. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to the channel so that you can be a part of this family. And if you're an OG here, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, turn on your post notification if you haven't, so that you don't miss anything once I post.
So here are the ingredients I'm going to be using. I have here margarine. So the margarine is 250 grams. I have sugar. Sugar is 200 grams. I have all-purpose flour, which is also 250 grams. I have 5 eggs, which I'm going to measure. That should be about 250 grams. I have baking powder, which is 2 tsp and 1/4 tsp. That's teaspoon. And I have 1/8 cup of milk. So these are all the things I'll be using. I also have vanilla flavor that I'll be adding. So of course, we're going to cream the margarine and sugar together to make it light and fluffy. So the time you are going to use to mix this margarine and sugar depends largely on your mixer. So you can mix it for like 10, 15, 20 minutes depending on the speed of your mixer. So here is my own after some few minutes, and I'm about to finish whipping it up. Creamed totally and it's fine. Now I'm going to show you how to measure eggs properly. So you place whatever you're going to use to measure on the scale and turn on the scale to 0 right after you've put the measuring bowl. So now I make sure that I break my egg one after the other into the measuring bowl, because one thing about egg is that one can spoil and it can ruin all the eggs that you've broken. So I avoid mixing it together directly. So I break it one at a time. And voila, I have my 250 grams. You can see that I have small leftover. So I'm going to be pouring this egg one after the other into the butter and sugar mixture that I've mixed. So after I finish pouring it, I will mix it totally with the butter and sugar, that's the margarine and sugar, till everything is well combined. Then I'm going to add the dry ingredients together, which is the baking powder and the flour. I'll give everything a good mix. This has already been sieved, but one good tip about getting a very fluffy cake is to sieve your flour for like 2, 3 to 4 times. It makes it lightweight, and then it makes your cake really lightweight as well. So I'll sieve it into the butter. So it's already been sieved like 2 or 3 times, so I just decided to show you once again. So I do not need to use mixer, but if you are mixing a larger batch, you can use a mixer, but avoid over mixing. So I'm going to incorporate everything together. Then I'll add milk, 1/8 cup of milk, and then I would mix together. I would also add vanilla flavor, which is 1/2 tsp. I will mix everything together and my batter is ready.
The batter is ready now, but before I proceed to grease my pan, to line it with parchment paper, I want to preheat my oven. And what's my oven? Ta-da! So this is my oven, my pot with some stones inside. So here I have some stones, some granite inside this pot, and is this pot I'm going to put on fire. So I'm going to place this on my stove now to preheat it, so to have a kind of heat inside. So the science behind this is just to create heat. By the time I place this pot on fire, it's going to be hot and it will heat up the stone inside it. And this stone is now going to release heat that is now going to bake this cake. So I'm going to make sure that it's properly covered. The heat inside will be retained. It is this heat that is not going to bake this cake. It's the same method with an oven, just that an oven has a timer and a temperature setting. But this one, you have to monitor it yourself. That's all. And now you're going to be a pro in baking this cake So I'm going to place this on fire now, kind of like preheating the oven.
So now I'm moving on to oiling my pan. So I'll be using margarine. I have a brush. If you do not have this kind of brush, please use your hand. You can just improvise. So all you need to do is ensure that every part of the pan is properly oiled. So with margarine, just grease it and that's it. So I'm going to be using parchment paper. This is how I cut my parchment paper. I just trim out a line after placing the pan on it, and then I cut it out using a scissors. But it's not compulsory, especially for margarine or butter based cakes, to use parchment paper. You can easily dust the pan with flour and it will work as well, but I'm quite used to using parchment paper, so that's why I'm using it. So if you have, please go ahead and use it. If you do not have, use flour. Just make sure that everywhere is properly oiled and you dust it with flour or use parchment paper all around. Moving on, I'm going to be adding my batter into the pan. After adding it, I will make sure that I spread it so that they can bake evenly. So I'll spread it and I'm going to take it into our improvised oven. The pot has been on heat for about 10-15 minutes thereabouts. So I'm going to put the cake batter right inside the pot now. You can see that there is space inside it. So I will time it. This is 3 p.m. So I'll come and be checking it. Thankfully this pot has a glass cover, so I can see through it. I do not need to open and close, and the heat is on medium heat. While the cake is baking, I'm going to proceed to make our butter icing. So I'll be using 250 gram of margarine. I'll be using 500 gram of icing sugar, and I would also be using 1 tablespoon of milk. The icing sugar has already been sieved. I would also be using vanilla flavor. You can also use butterscotch flavor or a mixture of the two flavors. This sachet margarine always come out a bit softer than the regular margarine inside the bucket. You can as well switch this margarine up with butter, real butter, so whichever one works. This is a regular American buttercream or margarine cream because I'm using margarine here. So the simple thing to do is just to mix the butter or margarine till it's light and fluffy. Avoid over mixing. So once you notice that it's already pale, light and fluffy, you are good to go. Make sure you scrape your bowl while you are mixing so that everything can be totally combined. So that's what I'm doing here, and you can see that it has increased in volume, is light, is fluffy, and is pale yellow. So I'm going to reduce the speed of the mixer so that it doesn't splash all around. The icing sugar has already been sieved, so I'll add it in bits. So I'll add a little. I'll make sure that the mixer mixes it properly, and then I'll continue to add till the icing sugar is finished. Make sure that you don't over mix, because when you over mix, you are going to mix too much air into this cream and you have a lot of bubbles in your buttercream, and you do not want that because it's going to stress you when you are covering your cake. So you can switch up the milk with water, because milk reduces the shelf life of this buttercream. It spoils quickly if there is milk inside. So you can remove the milk and replace it with water, or you can even avoid it totally. So I just add milk or water to make it a little bit more light. So I'll add the milk now, I'll mix it, then I'll add the flavor and mix everything together. Then our butter icing is ready. I'm interchanging it. I call it butter icing or buttercream. It's the same thing, so don't get me wrong. Now the buttercream is ready. Look at that. Look at how lush that looks. See, if you get to this level, you're a pro. Now let's check on our cake. So let me open it up. This is about 1 hour 10-15 minutes later, and the cake is ready. Make sure that you do not increase the heat too much. So just put it on a medium heat and it's going to bake like 1 hour, 1 hour 15 minutes thereabouts. So to know whether your cake is ready, done, and all of that, you insert a skewer in the middle, especially the middle. You can put it on other parts, but make sure it's on the middle, and once it come out clean, your cake is ready. So I'm going to um, remove this cake from the pan so that we can now cool it off and decorate. Look at that. Let's see the result. Now that the cake has totally cooled off, what I'm going to do now is to decorate the cake. So I have my buttercream here, I have my color here, which is color blue. You can use any color of your choice. I have an offset spatula, I have a cake comb, this is the rectangular one, and I have the triangle one, and this is a piping bag. So when you get to a baking store around you are going to get all of this equipment or tools. So I'm going to cut off the piping bag to make a hole, and you'll see how we're going to use it in subsequent clips. So I want to color the buttercream with blue color, so I'll just take a pinch. When you want to color your creams, do it in batches, like small, just add a little by little till you get the shade that you desire, and avoid using too much that dark colors because they end up getting too bitter for your cake. So when your children eat it, they won't enjoy it, and you do not want that. Or even when your customers eat them, they might not enjoy it. So you mix like this, and then you eventually combine everything together till you achieve your desired color. So I've already gotten the color I want, which is a very light shade of blue. It won't be bitter, so I'm going to pack it inside my piping bag. I'll open the piping bag this way so that it doesn't mess up. Look at that, that's the way I opened it. So I'm going to fill it in with the buttercream, and we're going to proceed to decorate this beautiful cake. Once the piping bag is filled, please watch out for places where you see holes. Those are bubbles, hair bubbles, and they're going to disturb you if you don't get rid of them. So make sure you get rid of them. So now the buttercream is ready, and the next thing now is to start decorating. Please watch out for all of the steps I'm going to be showing you. The first thing is to stick your cake to the board using your buttercream. So you put a little and then you spread it with your spatula. Then you turn the cake upside down and then press it so that it stays glued to the board. Because I really want this tutorial to be beginner friendly, I'm not going to be using a turntable. I'm going to be improvising with something that you can have in your house. This is a regular turntable that we use over here, so you can see that it is turning, so it's going to make our work easier, but I'm not going to be using that today. I'm going to be using this cup as my turntable. So if I can do it, you can do it too. Don't disappoint me. So what I'm going to do is to use this piping bag to pipe the buttercream all around the cake carefully. So don't press it too much on the cake such that it will now pack crumbs. You don't want to see crumbs in your decoration. It will mess up your cake, so you don't want to see that. Just press it and let your hand just go freely. It works that way. So if you've done everything, you'd look around to see where there are holes. Just feel everywhere that there are holes. Now you're going to get the cake comb, either one that you're using. Take the smooth side and place it on the cake. So please watch out for how I'm going to place it. Can you see the way I placed it? Now look, this is the angle. It's not too close to the cake and it's not too far from the cake, so I can say it's about 45 degrees angle on the cake. So you are going to use your second hand, one hand to hold the cake cone, one hand to hold it from where you started from, such that you are going to end where your hand is staying. So you remove it gently. So once that is done, we're going to move to the top. So using the offset spatula, you're going to place it carefully at about 45 degrees as well, and go back and forth. So to the back, to the front, back and forth like that. Then you remove it carefully, like gradually. I'm trying to remove it like that now, and that's it. So I remove the excess. When you're working with buttercream, always remove the excess on your knife or on your cake comb. So here is the way you place it. It's not too flat on the cake, and it's not too far away from the cake. So it's like an angle 45 degrees, like I mentioned earlier, not too close and not too far. So you go back and forth, and remove it slowly. It might get sticky, please be careful. Now I'm going to use the patterned cake comb, patterned side, the same way, not too close to the cake and not too far. So I'll do it the same way. Hold my hand, and then where my hand is staying is where we are going to end it. And to remove it, let me show you how to remove it. So now you are almost there. You gradually start removing it small, and then you remove it. Can you see? It's almost there. So now we are going to remove the excess on top of the cake. That's why we did the side first. I try to do the side first so that the excess will come up, and by scraping it, we are going to have what we call sharp edge. So can you see? Angle 45, not too far, not too close. You place it and then drag it to the center to remove the excess. Make sure that after doing each one, you remove the excess. If you don't do that, it's going to mess up your cake, and you do not want that. So repeat the same process over and over again until all the excesses have been packed away. Look at that, beautiful, right? So now I'm going to remove all of the excess on the board, because I want my work to really be very neat, and you should do the same. After that, I'll use a foam or a tissue paper to clean the board. So now moving on to piping. This is a nozzle that I can use, but I decided not to use it. So I'm using a piping bag like that, and it formed a design. Can you see? So you just press and release, and a beautiful design is going to be formed. So if you are using a nozzle as well, you can do that same design. I want to do the sides as well, the base. So I'm going to do it on the body of the cake, not on the board. Can you see that? Can you see? So I'll do it on the body. If you do it on the board, that's another design actually, but I think this one is beautiful, right? So now I'm doing all of that, and the cake is coming out beautifully well. So to accessorize it, because some people might not be good with calligraphy, I decided to use a topper. So you can get these things in baking stores around you. They're quite affordable if they are not customized. So I placed it carefully on the cake, and then I have different sprinkles there, but I'm going with this gold one, so because everything is going to pop. So just accessorize as you want. You can use any sprinkles. Just go to any baking stores around you. These things are called sprinkles, so just use it to accessorize your cake. Like, it's going to come out popping and beautiful. Like from this one, you can see it's already just popping. I can't wait for you guys to practice this, and whenever you do, please tag me on my socials, Most Cakery on Instagram and Facebook. I'll definitely repost.
Now the cake is ready. Look at that. So your celebration is not going to be boring. If you are working with a tight budget, just whip up something for your children, a small get together. That's it. Ready. So you're not going to be spending money with most cake, right? No, you're still going to spend money with me. Because when you have those wedding cakes, you're going to buy from us. But if you have some small celebrations, or even if you are up to the task, you can do big ones, but just have fun with your children while doing this. Like, create memories with your children. I hope this video really helps you create memories with your children and your family. If you find this video helpful and useful to you, you can just say thank you to me by clicking on that super thanks button.
So now let's package this cake. This cake is an 8 inches cake, so you're going to use a 10 inches board and a 10 inches box. So the small allowance is going to ensure that you can carry it properly. So you fix your box this way and you package it. That's all. We're using a customized box. Actually, we have a customized box, but you can easily walk up to a baking store and get a 10 inches board and box so that you can easily pack your cake. Look at that. Isn't it popping and beautiful? It is, right?
With that, I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here, and of course turn on post notifications so that when I share another video, you're going to be the first to see.